Seattle Times. Seattle firefighter facing charges in underage sexting is placed on leave. The Seattle Fire Department has placed a longtime firefighter on administrative leave after an arrest during an online sting operation with undercover officers posing as 13-year-old girls. Wow. So at the beginning of this story, you're kind of seeing how this is going. So this guy was apparently caught trying to meet up and have sex with a 13-year-old girl, or at least what he thought was a 13-year-old girl. Pierce County prosecutors on Thursday charged the firefighter Andrew Sapir, 52, with 2 counts of second-degree attempted rape of a child and communication with a minor for immoral purposes, though no actual children were involved in the alleged crimes. Sapir's arrest and charges, first reported by the News Tribune, were among 3 other arrests that were part of Operation Daycare, a multi-agency effort similar to the Washington State Patrol's Operation Net Nanny, a series of online sting operations launched in 2015. So once again, this has been going on since 2015, and I'm certain that they've been doing this much earlier, but they've been catching a lot of police officers and some firefighters and also some public officials in some of these things, and that's the most troubling part about this. That's the part about this that actually disturbs me the most, that they've been catching so many public servants, so many public officials in this stuff, because of what that of the implications of that. Because a child wouldn't hesitate to approach a firefighter. That's what makes this so troubling and so disturbing. People convicted in online stings in Washington can serve more time in prison than those convicted of molesting actual children, according to a New York Times analysis, and can spend life on the sex offender registry. Net nanny cases have a 95% conviction rate, according to the Washington State Patrol. Richard Packard, past president of the Washington State chapter of the Association of the Treatment of Sexual Abusers, said that most of the men netted in online underage sextings present a relatively low risk of subsequent arrest or conviction for sex crimes, but there are some serious exceptions. Online stings raise the questions of what people would have done if they hadn't been involved in a police operation, said Michael O'Connell, the representative of the chapter of the Washington State Sex Offender Policy Board. It does raise questions, but if you are talking online with someone who you think is 13, and you are a firefighter, you are a public official, you are a police officer, or you're just a regular person, I have no problem with you being locked up. Now, if you're just saying general sexual things and you're not aware the person is underage, that's one thing. Or it depends on the context, but in this particular context, I think it's pretty clear what this man was going to try to do. There is child sex abuse in the world. It is a thing. There are some meetups that occur in various internet platforms and social media platforms, and those actually do happen, O'Connell said. Yet he added, I think there's a reasonable hypothesis that, but for these planned and contrived sting operations, these guys would not have gone looking for a 13-year-old person. Well, I'm not sure about that, but I do see the argument there that there's an element of entrapment there. There is an element of seeking to trap someone into a crime that they might not have actually committed, based solely on what they're saying that they were going to commit. But at the same time, I do get the point of these operations, especially if someone is a firefighter or a public servant. You just can't have that. You just can't have that, man. A Sapir case is the second in a month in which a public employee was caught in an online sting. In February, a 27-year-old Washington State Patrol employee was arrested after police said he traded graphic messages with an undercover officer and showed up at a Kirkland hotel room expecting to find 2 children. The Seattle Fire Department confirmed that Sapir, who was hired by the department in 1998, was arrested while off duty and was placed on leave pending an internal investigation in the upcoming legal process. According to the charging documents, Sapir reached out to a social media profile showing a photo of a female undercover state patrol trooper with a listed age of 52. In text exchanged between Sapir and an undercover officer, the officer later identified as 13. The undercover officer asked Sapir if he was down to party along with a friend. also described as 13, and asked him to bring condoms. Sapir was arrested March 16th at a Tacoma address given to him by an undercover officer. Sapir at times expressed confusion about the age of the person he was corresponding with in text exchanged between the two. In a recorded interview with Seattle police, Sapir said he came to the house hoping that the two girls were not actually 13. Police said that after the recording ended, Sapir said he might have been willing to have sex with two 13-year-olds. So if he said that, I have no problem with this man going down. But once again, he's facing charges. You're a sick individual, especially towards the end when he said that he was willing to go meet up with two 13-year-old girls. God, you're sick, man. I hope you get help. I hope you go to prison. I hope you get help. I hope you get rehabilitated. You don't just get thrown away, man. I hope you get help, because this is sick, man. And I'm glad that he was caught before any actual children were harmed, because it's one thing when you have people out on the streets, but when you have firefighters out here doing things like this, it's very disturbing. Because, there are children out there who look up to firefighters. You look at Paw Patrol, you look at a lot of these shows that are geared towards children, and firefighters are portrayed in a certain light. And that is to encourage children to go and speak with them and go and have conversations with them. And so you would have children who would go and speak and have conversations with this man. And it is so disturbing that a child would do that without realizing that they might be in danger.